So this is the Old Butler, and this is under how much water now?
150 feet of water.
Look who's asleep.
It's the famous Life magazine photo. This is Mr. Fritz.
I like this. It says, in the summertime, we just lived in the creek.
That's neat, isn't it?
The day I was baptized, the creek was as cold as the devil.
Does this come out of the old church?
This is what the Cobbs Creek Baptist Church. It's the original windows.
All of this once was Butler, Tennessee, a town sacrificed in 1948 when the Tennessee Valley Authority, in the name of flood control, bought the town, built a dam downstream, and turned this whole valley into a lake 40 feet deep.
So you really couldn't leave the casket open in most situations. But if you wanted to take a peek at your deceased loved one.
All right, so we love old general stores, folks. You know that.
Well, Mr. Stout was always being the entrepreneur, wouldn't pass up a nice fat hen to trade for some material or something like that. So he had this little trap door here in the floor, as you can see. Now, I'm not going to say that for sure that there was anything behind there that may not have been perfectly legal.
Hank Williams Sr. stopped by?
Hank Williams Sr.'s been here, and many of the old country music singers have been here.
Wow. Yeah, let's take a look.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're so excited today, and we're going to take y'all with us to a place known worldwide as the town that wouldn't drown.
Yes, we're headed to Butler, Tennessee, where the TVA, when they flooded the old town of Butler, they had to relocate over 600 families, and I think that there was close to 1,300 graves that had to be relocated. So we're excited about this. It's an old general store. We got somebody that's going to meet us up there and show us all around.
And we're going to visit the Museum of Butler, Tennessee. We have an appointment with someone to show us around and learn all the history. So guys, we're here at the Museum of Butler, Tennessee, and our tour guide, I guess today, is Dave Shepard.
My name's David Shepard. I'm the chairman of the board of the Butler Museum. That's the Watauga Valley Heritage Association and the Butler Museum. Have been for nearly 2 years now. I'm proud to do so, and I'd love to welcome you guys to come to the museum.
So what are we looking at here, Dave?
So this is a monument to the Daniel Boone Trail. It was given to the museum by the Daughters of the American Revolution, and we're proud to have it and exhibit it here, along with some additional stories from Daniel Boone.
Now, Old Butler was just right across the hill there?
Yeah, if you, it's about 1.5 miles from here, and it's under the lake, of course, just outside of Butler proper, what we call Butler proper, Butler unincorporated limits. So under 150 feet of water now.
Mm-hmm.
So
I noticed on the museum information online that it's the only area that incorporated town that
right.
TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority, flooded.
That's correct. Had its own city government, municipal police department, elementary schools, high school, and an accredited national college also.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can't wait to see around and the museum and the country store. And here is the cost. And I'm sure Dave will give us the openings and dates and stuff before we close out.
Sure. Well, we are closed for the season right now. During the winter and early spring, it's hard to get enough audience to keep the museum open at this time. We're working on that, where we would love to stay open year-round and be more of an outreach program, going to the community, sharing the Appalachian heritage, the stories of those people that founded not only the Butler area, but the whole Northeast Tennessee, Western North Carolina, Southwest Virginia areas, in the early times, and the type of people that eked out a living here in this mountainous community, and we're really working hard to doing that. The museum will open this year on May 18th. We'll be open every weekend, both Saturday and Sundays. Saturdays are 11 till 5, and Sundays are from 1 to 5.
And the web link, everybody can find you.
ButlerMuseumTN.org.
So the museum, did it used to sit somewhere else, or was
No, the museum's it was built here.
Okay.
The property was donated by Miss Babe Curtis to the Butler Ruatan and the Watauga Valley Association. So here you can kind of see, this is the old town of Butler here. As I said, you had grocery stores, there was a roller skating rink, a movie theater, college, as well as elementary and secondary school. But you can see many of the old houses. I live in the old R.A. Courtner home, who was a local resident of Old Butler, he and his family, and he was a store owner there and an entrepreneur. He actually moved his home and another home into Old Butler and started what was then known as the Butler Ham House. They would have upwards of 10,000 hams hanging in there and curing in New Butler. Yeah. And so he was one of the wealthier folks, men of means, as he's been described in that day and time. But here on this little map I got out for you, this is where the old town of Butler is. But you can see the large area, including Carter and Johnson County, that was taken up by the dam when the dam was established.
So this is the old Butler, and this is under how much water now?
150 feet of water.
And they tried to move the majority of these.
Those that could afford to move their homes did. Many weren't able to, so they just relocated.
Did the TVA reimburse the families? How did that work?
TVA purchased the properties through eminent domain, which in most situations, as you understand, is pennies on the dollar. We've had veterans serving several White Houses. We've had 4-star generals, commandants of the Citadel. A lot of history going back to the mid 1700s. This was a Union stronghold. Lots of people believe because of its location in Tennessee being a Confederate state, this area was actually Union, and there was a huge divide. You literally had brothers fighting against each other here in this area.
Look who's asleep.
Living off the land.
So sawmilling was very important to the community, as well as tobacco, beans. At one time, Johnson County, including Butler, was known as the bean capital of the world. Bean Day, and had Miss Bean Pageant, and and all those things.
Yeah. So interesting, all the stuff here.
Yeah.
Living off the land.
These are original items from the post office in Old Butler, some of the working machines and things. There's even letters and correspondence from that time.
Really?
Still in the post office.
I wonder what the age of this is.
Some of that equipment, and especially the shelving and things, will date 1910, 1920, up through the mid-40s. Is the famous Life magazine photo. This is Mr. Fritz. I haven't checked to see if Mr. Fritz is still with us right now. He was last year. He was still alive last year. And this photo was for Life magazine.
When was it in there?
48, 49, I believe.
So this would have been Old Butler.
Old Butler. That's Main Street Old Butler.
Main Street Old Butler. There's Gamble. Is that Gamble's? Is that what that says?
Gamble's, yeah.
And S.O.
Yeah. And some of these buildings, a lot of the buildings, as you came into Butler and turned onto McQueen Street from Pine Orchard Road to come up to the museum, a lot of the buildings on the left-hand side and most of the houses on McQueen Street that you see were moved up from Old Butler.
We did notice a general store on the front of one of those buildings.
Yeah, I don't think that particular building was, but the next one to it was part of Old Butler, and it was the Butler Tea Room, and we actually have an exhibit dedicated to the Old Butler Tea Room.
That is a neat photo right there.
And of course, here at the museum, we're proud to talk about our Native American heritage. Of course, this was a Cherokee along with many other Native American type tribes, but Cherokee being the prominent. Butler's named after Mr. Roderick Butler, who was with the 13th Regiment, which was a Union regiment that was established here and served out of North Carolina. We did have the Watauga Academy, which was a nationally accredited college, and up until the mid-70s, if you were being taught by a teacher, it's been said that if you were being taught by a teacher in Northeast Tennessee, she went to school at Butler Academy. And again, here's our exhibit to the Butler Tea Room. You could get anything from a hamburger to a bus ticket there at the Butler Tea Room. And this building's still here in Old Butler. That was moved, or in Butler, I should say. And of course, Mr. Carroll Reese. You can't not talk about Butler and not talk about Mr. Carroll Reese. This is Mr. Reese here, and this is his family, his mother and father, and all of his brothers and sisters.
Neat.
This kind of brings together the community as the community life, some images and information about it, some of the stores. You had Police Chief Carson, which is photographed up there in the 1930s. This is a revival that was held in Old Butler in the 40s.
I like this. It says, in the summertime, we just lived in the creek.
That's neat, isn't it?
The day I was baptized, the creek was as cold as the devil.
That's one of your favorites there, huh?
That's one of my favorites.
All right.
That's Appalachian descriptive,
Yes.
I guess you could say. This is original equipment from Mr. Stout's barbershop that was in Old Butler. Lovingly donated to the museum, and we're proud to have it.
Very interesting.
This is some information and remnants left from the old railroad. We're always talking about the flooding. There's some good photographs here showing the flooding of 47, I believe it was, in 1947, that took out the railroad, and they decided not to build it back and started with the dam after that.
And that was just a natural flooding,
It's
right?
natural flooding, yeah.
Does this come out of the old church?
This is what the Cobbs Creek Baptist Church. It's the original windows, pulpit, and chairs from there. We have several items here and stories that go along with these.
Did they move the church? Or?
No, one of the churches were moved. Another church that was dismantled and the bricks used in a Baptist church in Bristol.
Okay, so this is when the TVA started moving in, right?
Yep.
That's a shot from Bristol, you said?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Yeah,
Okay,
coming
I'm
in
sorry.
through Elizabeth and on Elk Avenue. The actual moving, some of the homes being moved, and the grave interments. That's kind of a unique story.
Did all of them go to the same place, or?
They kind of got spread around, and it depended on whether the family could afford to, buy new grave plots and things like that also. So this is the drawdown. You can see many photographs here from the drawdown. It was in 89. In 89 was the drawdown. And many of the local residents that had lived in Old Butler were still living at that time, and they all got to make the trek back down to Butler, and many items were recovered. For example, this appears to be just, some boards nailed up on the wall, but this was actually, at Watauga Academy, the backboard. So 40 years later, after the dam was filled up.
So underwater 40 years here.
Yeah, and then 40 years later, some local residents found it there. Many of the bricks, a landscaping stone was still found and brought to the museum and donated to the museum.
It is a wasteland now, a cold, bizarre landscape of mud and barren trees. The place where Percy Matherly was born.
Well, it's pretty sad to me to look over it from where that was when I was a boy. It was a pretty prosperous little town then.
All of this once was Butler, Tennessee, a town sacrificed in 1948 when the Tennessee Valley Authority, in the name of flood control, bought the town, built a dam downstream, and turned this whole valley into a lake 40 feet deep. The dam needed repairs. The lake was drained. With the lake at its lowest point, hundreds of former residents have spontaneously returned. More than reunion, this was a pilgrimage.
It's an outpouring of this emotion, which really has been bottled up for 35 years.
I know that I'll never see it in my lifetime again, and I can't
look at it enough.
They came as amateur archaeologists, planing bricks, marveling at the preserved homesteads, settling emotional scores with the land.
Someone asked me the other day what I was doing back over here, and I said, looking for my footprints I lost when I was over here.
They also came as professional archaeologists, looking for the ruins of a second, much older civilization.
We're basically looking for the remains of prehistoric Indian sites. We're finding a lot of pottery.
But the souvenirs change in the ruins of a modern American culture. Florence Isaacs found an oil can from her father's gas station.
Beatty's service station was right over where the rock wall is, right over there.
D. Arney claimed the cornerstones from church. What they all found after 35 years were ruins from a culture too young to have them, a peculiarly American version of Pompeii, Atlantis in East Tennessee. And until the waters claim once again the corner of Main and Spring Streets, they found home. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Old Butler, Tennessee.
And that's the CBS Evening News for this month.
That is very cool.
And all that was found in Old Butler.
Mm-hmm.
Old Butler here, as you can see, and this is from about the same location now, currently.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of gives you an idea of what.
That is very interesting there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They have it side by side like that, yeah.
Do we have any kind of idea what the population may have been in Old Butler at the time of the?
There was 680 families were affected by the dam.
Okay.
This is the old Curtis, many items from the old Curtis store. Original booth and table from the old Curtis store. Is an ice cream soda shop type place. Neat little story about this cabinet. It's one of my favorite stories here in the museum. The children of Little Milligan School, elementary school, this cabinet was in the classroom at Little Milligan for years, and nobody really had studied the history of it, but it actually came from the Curtis store in Old Butler. And it had a little story with it, a little adventure, and the children wrote a book about the Old Butler cabinet. And they called it Cabby. It's hi. I'm Cabin. I live in Curtis Drug Store, and they go through and they draw little pictures, and it talks about its adventures and how it ended up being a part of their classroom before it was donated to the museum.
So
Such a neat little.
This is it right here.
Yeah, this is the cabinet.
Pretty old cabinet.
We can check out downstairs if you like.
All right, hope you guys are enjoying this. We're headed downstairs now. We got some more items. So watch our step.
So,
Oh, wow.
It's Appalachian living.
Yes.
I always like to mention the toys, some toys and items from Old Butler. But the train itself was built by the inmates at Northeast Correctional Complex and dedicated to the museum by them, memorializing how important the trains were in Old Butler.
All right, folks, if y'all remember this, comment down below that book. There's 1936.
Look at this old Chinese checkers.
Well, it is old, isn't it?
So have you guys ever heard sleep tight and don't let the bed bugs
Oh, yeah.
bite? Many don't know where that came from, but if you'll look at this original bed set, to sleep tight meant to tighten up the strings on your bed, the ropes, to give you a little firmer sleep. And don't let the bed bugs bite. They would actually look like little tins, little like ashtrays, for example. They would fill with coal oil in these trays and set the bed legs in those trays to prevent bugs from crawling up the bed legs overnight. Sleep tight, fill your coal oil. That meant so sleep tight, tighten up your bed. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Make sure the coal oil was full in your.
How interesting is that? I said that my whole life, but I didn't
know where it came from.
No. Still have any bears around the area?
Oh, definitely.
Black
Actually
bears,
got
yeah.
a little bit of a comeback with the bears recently, with hunting going down. The bear population is coming back. We have a couple every year right here.
Yeah.
In Butler, It was a very ornate, multifunctional stove there. Many families didn't have a stove that nice in home. Some cooked over an open hearth or a fireplace, but to have an ornate, multifunctional stove like that meant you were pretty well off.
Yeah.
So this is actually a hearse that was used in Old Butler. And if you looked in the back of it, you can see all the hardware and things that were used to hold the casket in. I was told a story by a visitor to a museum. The lids here on the caskets, of course this is a child's casket, very ornate, but the lids on the casket, there wasn't a whole lot of embalming in the early 20th century, late 19th century. Wasn't a whole lot of embalming. So you really couldn't leave the casket open in most situations. But if you wanted to take a peek at your deceased loved one, you could just pull the lid back and tell them goodbye and say your farewells. And then
How
shut the lid
interesting.
back.
This is heavy.
Yeah, that's a metal, copper, brass casket for an infant, of course.
Right.
This is Miss Sally Goodwin. She was a seamstress in Old Butler, a very instrumental person in the community and a great story to Miss Goodwin. And she taught locals how to sew, and she made her living by sewing and making clothes and repairing clothes.
You think she made these quilts?
This is some of the things she did, yes.
Okay.
This is Miss Selma Curtis. They called her Babe Curtis. She's the lady who donated all the property to the museum. She was a music teacher locally for the schools and privately. Never married, and just really dedicated her life to education. An outstanding member of the community here. Haynes Duggar Wing. Haynes was a World War II veteran, born and raised in Old Butler. This is his family. A lot of the artifacts and items are about his family, and he was a huge patron of the museum, supporter of the museum. We truly miss him. I'd like to introduce you to Dorinda, my wife. She's who enables me to be able to dedicate time to the museum and things like that. Very
Absolutely.
supportive.
Thanks for coming by and saying hi.
Thanks
It's nice to
for
meet
having
you.
me. Yeah, I'm glad you're here.
So what about the general store?
Oh, you want to go see
I
it?
would love to
Let's
see
go
it.
see the
No,
store.
wait a minute. Before we go, I heard a story about a trap door with chickens.
Well, there is a trap door for chickens, but there's also another little secret hidden.
Oh, okay. Let's go check that out. Well, this is your memorial?
Yeah, this is our Veterans Memorial. We do offer bricks available for purchase that we have personalized. We do need to get this cleaned up springtime. But we're very proud of all of the veterans, and you can see as far back as World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. There's been someone or multiple people from Butler in every American war from the beginning, even back to the Revolutionary War.
Well, we love to honor our vets.
Yes, sir.
So I see the W. Stout store way over here. Now, it was moved here?
The Stout store was in Old Butler, and before the flood, the store was moved to another location in our community at the end of Pine Orchard Road and Highway 167. After Mr. Stout passed away, the land later transferred, and the museum was donated the store, and it was moved here in 1989.
Okay.
It was moved here and set up. 1999. Yeah, we are in
1999.
the process of renovating. Hadn't had very much work done on it since it was moved here. But again, Tennessee Valley Authority gave us some funds to do this with, and we're very appreciative to them.
Awesome. All right, so we love old general stores, folks. You know that. Make sure you hit that like button for Dave showing us around in here.
I remember coming in this store
Look at this.
in the 80s.
You still remember coming in the store?
Yeah, in the 80s, early 90s, this store was still an operating store. You could get a slice of bologna and a piece of cheese and a handful of crackers for $1.50.
Oh, wow.
Checkers.
Play checkers.
Yeah.
usually during our festival or our annual Butler Day, that's where you'll find me is sitting over there challenging people to checkers. I
Okay.
do that really well. Come on, I'll show you the trap door.
Oh, yeah.
So, most folks have heard of barter system. Well, Mr. Stout was always being the entrepreneur, wouldn't pass up a nice fat hen to trade for some material or something like that. So he had this little trap door here in the floor, as you can see, the outline of. I'm not going to try to pull it up. But underneath the store, he had that pinned off, and he would drop the chickens down in there that people had brought in to barter with. And then if you came in wanting to buy a chicken, you can come over and open the door and pick out which chicken you wanted.
That is great, isn't it?
So there was another old trap door on the back side of the counter here. It's kind of blocked up now. Now this may not be completely 100% accurate.
Okay.
There's no testimonials, no written testimonials to it. But as you can see, there's a little handle here. Now I'm not going to say that for sure that there was anything behind there that may not have been perfectly legal to sell at the time, but of a liquid nature.
Okay.
But there has been stories and rumors that this was a trapdoor that you could reach into, and I'm sure it was all for medicinal purposes. I'm
Sure,
it
yeah,
wasn't for
absolutely,
alcohol.
yeah.
I hear that's great for coughs.
Yes.
Stripping furniture, lacquer, thinner stripper, whatever.
Yeah. Look at this green giant sweet peas, whole kernel corn. But there's hickory cane. The beans. Eagle claw. The baking powder.
And these are
Pitted
the original
prints.
floors, Dave.
Yep, sure is. This section was built on later. After it moved to the new location, but this section's the original store.
I missed that. What was that?
This is the original store.
Okay.
This section here, all original floors. Now this section was built on when it moved up.
over here, yeah. Look at this old Coke.
Cooler, I guess.
And when people are here, it's, when we have events or when the museum open, you literally feel a different life here in these buildings, and you feel them kind of come in motion, if I guess you could say. You feel the energy is different. I'll come up a lot of the times to do maintenance or work or mow or something like that, and it's just really quiet. There's not much going on, but you get 8 or 10, 12, 15 visitors here, and it's just, there's a different feeling. And I think it's coming from those that visit with us, that they're remembering all those memories and that excitement of, especially folks that grew up in a time or in this area, to get to go to the store was a huge event in those times for many people. As a child, getting to go to the local general store, you always had that anticipation of maybe getting some candy or a toy or something like that. And I think that's really missed today because everything is so convenient and the opportunity to have anything is available today. Back then, it was really appreciated, and it was a different time.
My dad tells the story of taking the chicken egg or a couple eggs down to the country store and trading it in for a moon pie and a RC cola.
I did pop bottles. Pick up a drink bottle.
Look at this, folks. Pepsi Cola, 5 cents. Got other things over here.
But I walked many a country road to pick up a pop bottle and get a nickel for it, and take it to the local store.
It's just, there's so much now, kids.
Look at this can of Altoids. Oh my goodness. Wow. Blackjack. Did you ever chew blackjack chewing gum? Y'all let us know. Fresh eggs, 10 cents a dozen. So if this building could talk, the stories would be amazing, wouldn't it?
The general store was the community hub.
Yep.
Information. I mean, how many people were notified of that a war had started with the limitation? There was very few TVs in the 40s, and imagine before that. This was where all the information come to be disseminated to the community.
Right.
Your mail, newspapers, and sometimes they'd be a week, 2 weeks old, before the information ever got there. So it was a central, essential being of the community.
Did it always have the porch on it out here? Or?
It did always have a stoop or a small porch out front. Yeah.
I was just looking after him for a few days. My mom was sick, and he's got a little dementia.
Serve food out of our little stage. We'll have bands there during Butler Day. We are wanting to expand that. Like I said, I've been trying to work with Anthony, Oliver Anthony, the Spoon Lady, Old Crow Medicine Show, Kentucky Headhunters.
Yeah.
Working with some folks to try to get them to come in and put some presentations on for us here so we can continue to add to the museum.
Well, we hope you enjoyed seeing around here the Butler Museum and the old general store. We had a blast. Thanks so much for showing us around.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can tell them that you have something called the Butler Days.
Yeah.
August 24th?
August 24th, live music, great food, lots of vendors, and of course the museum will be open. Butler Days put on by the Butler Ruatan to raise money for scholarships and help here in our local community. So we'd love to see everybody, not only at the museum, but also at Butler Day.
Hey, remember this also, folks. You're not far away from Mountain City. If you remember, we did a couple videos there, and we'll link it up here so you can go watch that. Mountain City is a beautiful town here in the East Tennessee Mountains. You can be in Boone, Elizabethton.
Boone, North Carolina in 30 minutes, right, Joe?
Yep, about 30 minutes to Boone. Elizabethton from the museum's about 20 minutes away, and Mountain City's about 25 minutes away. Abingdon, Virginia, Bristol. If you're coming over to the racetrack, we're just about less than an hour away from Bristol.
Beautiful area. Now, where would people stay if they come to this area?
Just funny that you mentioned that. So, Dorinda, my wife, and I, we have a local Airbnb called the Butler Depot. It's like a boutique type hotel. There's many other Airbnb places like the Iron Mountain Inn, Bayview Campground. They have some cabin rentals. So lots of places to stay right on the lake and in the beautiful mountains also.
So, what do you say we go down and take a look at the Airbnb?
Come on.
All right. The Butler Depot.
So in mid-50s, R.A. Courtney, this is his home that was in Old Butler, one of his homes from Old Butler. He and his sons built this building as a ham house. It was actually a curing place for hams. They would have upwards of 10,000 hams at a time in this building, curing for sale, and all the old Dixiecrats from Nashville, country music singers like Hank Williams Sr. Would come up during Christmas and buy hams to give away to all their friends at Christmas. 4 years ago, my wife and I, Dorinda, had the opportunity to buy it. Now we're turning it into a little local community store, farmer's market type thing with boutique room rentals here also. So I'd love to show you one of the
Yeah, we'd love to see it. And Hank Williams Sr. stopped by
Hank Williams Sr.'s been here, and many of the old country music singers have been here.
Wow. Yeah, let's take a look. I guess you can rent canoes and kayaks from y'all.
Canoes, kayaks. We're working on having some primitive camping just across the street, and we're wanting to put some yurts in to put up here on top of the hill, because you can see the lake, of course, from here. We're directly across the street from Watauga Lake.
Look at these chairs and tables.
Yeah. So our other business is the Crystalac Company. We make paint, stains, fillers, all eco-friendly water-based products.
That's a nice view. You come out here and sit. So if somebody rents a place for the night,
Sure.
to tour the area, they could come out here and sit and
Lounge in Old Butler and have a good time. pace is a little bit slower. If you need to come relax, this is a great place.
It's nice because there's a park across the street. There's a walking
Yeah.
track around the park, and great for kids.
Oh, yeah.
These rooms were originally going to be set up as office space, but believe it or not, in Butler, not many people need an office space. But they do need a place to sleep, so
Yes.
we came up with the idea.
And how many rooms do you have?
There's 3 on this side, and we're working on 2 on the other side.
Okay, and how can people find you online?
It's the Butler Depot, or Butler Depot, and we have a web page there, and there's some phone numbers on there for booking it.
Okay. This is the Old Butler room. Oh, how cool is that?
Yes, I love it.
This room sleeps up to 5, and got some bunk beds back here with an extra long twin and a queen, and of course a king up here. And this one's actually going to be rented tonight. They've already brought their snacks in. That's awesome.
Yeah. Very spacious.
Yeah, it's nice, good-sized rooms.
Some bunks back here for the kids.
I like the refrigerator.
This is our mid-sized room.
Yeah, kind of retro, huh?
And then around the corner is a bathroom with a shower. And
So you got a big widescreen TV, split unit, heat and cool. Is there a place to get some food right across
yeah,
here?
this is the Butler Trading Post restaurant and general store there.
And there's also a Matty Mo's Pizza right across the street too.
Okay.
So there's 2 restaurants.
Oh, no,
This room sleeps 2.
this is like a beach one. Thing,
Yes.
Yeah. Pretty.
So this room is the beach room, and it sleeps 2. It's got a queen size bed, nice little living area, and of course everything's brand new.
Gorgeous.
Very clean. Yeah.
Look at the bedroom.
Oh yeah.
Pretty, isn't it?
I like the colors.
It's pretty, yeah.
Still a little work to do.
Mm-hmm. Bathroom, shower. Okay.
In the closet.
In the closet. Okay. Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice.
Look at that. Okay, and this is number 3. Is this the larger one? Or?
This is our largest room.
Okay.
It sleeps 6.
Oh, wow.
And this is our lake room. This is my baby. This is the one I love.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous, yeah.
They just keep getting better and better as we go.
Look at that.
King up top in the loft, and it's reminiscent of a boat dock, of course. And then the couch, the sofa pulls out into a queen bed, and another queen bed back here. So this is our only bathroom at this time that's a full bath with a full tub in case you've got children or something like that and need to give them a bath. You can here.
It's gorgeous.
Look at there, folks. How nice.
The reason they're so nice is because she keeps me.
This is a picture of Watauga Lake. It was taken by Above Ground Media, so they're a local media.
Okay.
Now, did you get this roof in here?
I did.
The ceiling and
Up here is a king size bed.
almost every time
You like this?
I love it. I like them all.
See. Well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate your time and showing us around.
Welcome, and we welcome all of you. Anytime, just give us a call.
Yeah, and if you get a chance, go visit butlerdepot.com and you can see all our rooms online.
When you come to Butler, you won't change, but your heart will.
There you
That's
go.
right.
The town that wouldn't drown.
That's right.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. This has been a blast.
It's been a great adventure.
Yeah, right here in the town of Butler, Tennessee. Beautiful Appalachian country. You want to come and stay and visit. Mountain City, Butler, so much around here to see.
Yes.
Town Elizabeth and Boone, North Carolina. This goes on and on.
Abingdon, Virginia, Bristol, Virginia is less than an hour away.
Yeah. Anyway, Winston had fun. He fell asleep a lot, didn't you, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, folks, that's going to do it for this adventure.
Yes. Thanks for joining us. Until
Yeah.
next time, we're Fridays.
Forever. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.